Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Fluent Path English. I'm James.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for tuning in. James, can you believe it's already March? It really feels like spring is just around the corner.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the cherry blossoms. Spring in Japan is always such a beautiful season.
Definitely. And March is also a big transition month in Japan. Students graduate, and people prepare for big life changes, which makes spring feel like a fresh beginning.
That's interesting. In the US, the academic year starts in August or September, so graduations usually happen in May or June.
Right! That's a big difference. But no matter where you are, spring always feels like a fresh start. I can't wait to start wearing spring clothes and shopping for new outfits.
Absolutely. And Emily, speaking of shopping, today's dialogue is all about online shopping, something that has totally changed the way we shop.
Yeah, shopping from home is super convenient. But for some people, it still feels a bit strange, especially when buying certain items.
That's right. In today's dialogue, one person is totally comfortable with online shopping, while the other is pretty skeptical.
Exactly. And they bring up some important concerns. Things like security, payment methods, and whether or not you can really trust online sellers.
That's right. So, let's jump into today's dialogue and see how this conversation unfolds.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking for a nice pillow on eBay.
You're shopping for a pillow online? That's absurd.
Why? I don't have to leave the house or browse a dozen stores to find what I'm looking for. This way, I just search for it online, quick and easy.
I see. But how do you pay for it? How do you know you aren't going to be ripped off by the seller?
Well, the website handles a point system where if the seller does something wrong, people comment negatively, and then you know that he or she may not be trustworthy.
Wow, that sounds pretty safe. So how do you pay? Do you need a credit card?
You can use a credit card or your debit card. They also let you use the PayPal system, which is really safe and fast. I have never had any problems with someone hacking my information or anything.
Do you think I can find a sweater for my dog online?
You can find anything. Are you sure you want to start shopping online, though? Once you step into this world, there is no turning back.
Let's do it!
I love that ending. It's true. Once you start shopping online, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, it starts with just one item, and before you know it, you're getting packages every week.
Exactly. But in the beginning, he was really skeptical. He thought shopping for a pillow online was absurd.
Right. And he also had concerns about security, like whether he could trust the seller and how payments worked.
Yeah, but the woman explained everything pretty well. She talked about seller ratings, payment options, and how safe PayPal is.
That's true. All right, now let's break down some useful phrases from the dialogue.
All right, let's start with the first word, pillow.
Pillow.
A pillow is a soft cushion that you rest your head on when sleeping. It's an essential part of getting a good night's sleep.
Right. And some people are very particular about their pillows. There are people who just can't sleep without their own pillow.
Yeah, and recently, custom-made pillows have become really popular. People are looking for the perfect pillow that fits their body and sleeping style.
That's true. But those pillows can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, but sleep is important, so a lot of people see it as a good investment in their health and well-being.
Exactly. All right, the next phrase is, that's absurd.
That's absurd.
That's absurd.
This phrase is a strong way to say that something is ridiculous or doesn't make sense. It's similar to saying, that's crazy, or that's unbelievable.
Right. In the dialogue, the man says, that's absurd, because he can't believe someone would shop for a pillow online.
Exactly. You can also use it in situations like, you paid $500 for a t-shirt? That's absurd. Or, you think I can finish this whole cake by myself? That's absurd.
I love this phrase. Now let's talk about the word browse.
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 This word means to look through things casually.
right? For example, browse the internet means to casually look at different websites without searching for anything specific.
And in stores, you might hear someone say, "I'm just browsing," which means they're just looking around, not necessarily planning to buy anything.
Exactly. Also, when you're looking through different shops, you can say browse stores, but another common phrase for that is shop around.
Yeah. If you want to compare prices before buying something, you might say, "I want to shop around a bit before deciding what to buy."
Exactly. Now, let's take a look at the phrase a dozen stores.
A dozen stores.
A dozen stores.
A dozen usually means 12, but in casual conversation, it can also mean a lot or many.
Right. In the dialogue, the woman says, browse a dozen stores. Here, a dozen doesn't mean exactly 12, it just means many in a casual way.
And did you notice? Here, she didn't say a dozen of stores. When we use a dozen with countable nouns like stores or apples, we usually drop the of.
That's right. But if you're talking about a dozen in a more general way, you can say a dozen of, like I bought a dozen of those cookies.
Great point. Okay, now let's listen to the dialogue again and see if you can catch them in context.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking for a nice pillow on eBay.
You're shopping for a pillow online? That's absurd.
Why? I don't have to leave the house or browse a dozen stores to find what I'm looking for. This way, I just search for it online, quick and easy.
I see. But how do you pay for it? How do you know you aren't going to be ripped off by the seller?
Well, the website handles a point system where if the seller does something wrong, people comment negatively, and then you know that he or she may not be trustworthy.
Wow, that sounds pretty safe. So how do you pay? Do you need a credit card?
You can use a credit card or your debit card. They also let you use the PayPal system, which is really safe and fast. I have never had any problems with someone hacking my information or anything.
Do you think I can find a sweater for my dog online?
You can find anything. Are you sure you want to start shopping online, though? Once you step into this world, there is no turning back.
Let's do it!
Listening again, you can really see how the man goes from being skeptical to totally excited by the end.
Yeah, at first, he thought it was ridiculous. But once he realized how safe and convenient it was, he actually wanted to give it a try.
It's a great example of how people's opinions or perspectives can change when they get the right information.
Exactly. Now, let's break down a few more useful expressions from the dialogue.
All right, let's move on to the phrase, be ripped off.
Be ripped off.
Be ripped off means to be charged too much money for something, or to be tricked into paying more than something is worth. It's a common phrase when talking about unfair prices.
Right. If someone sells you a fake designer bag for the price of a real one, you can say, I got ripped off.
And speaking of this, in Japan, people don't always see high prices as a ripoff. But when traveling abroad, you should be careful not to get ripped off, especially in tourist areas.
That's true. If you're unsure about a price, checking online or asking a local can help.
Absolutely. Next, let's talk about trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy describes someone or something you can trust. It's similar to reliable, but there is a small difference.
Right. Trustworthy focuses more on honesty and integrity. A trustworthy person is someone who won't lie or deceive you.
On the other hand, reliable is more about consistency. If someone always does their job well and on time, you might say, he is very reliable.
Exactly. So a friend who keeps secrets is trustworthy, and a coworker who always meets deadlines is reliable.
That makes sense, Emily. Now let's talk about hacking.
Hacking.
Hacking usually means breaking into a computer system, but it has other meanings too.
Right. People often think of hacking as something bad, like stealing information, but it can also mean finding a clever solution to a problem.
Yeah, in fact, that's where the term life hack comes from. A life hack is a simple trick to make your life easier, like a quick way to peel garlic.
So, hacking isn't always bad. It can mean being smart and resourceful too.
Great. All right. Today's final phrase is, there is no turning back.
There is no turning back.
There is no turning back means once you make a decision, you can't go back. It's often used in a fun or dramatic way.
Right. In the dialogue, the woman says, "Once you step into this world, there is no turning back." Meaning that once the man starts shopping online, he might get hooked and never go back to regular shopping.
You can also use it in serious situations. If you sign a contract, you might say, I signed the papers. There's no turning back now.
Exactly. It adds a bit of excitement or finality to a decision.
Perfect. Now let's listen to the dialogue one last time and see if you can catch these phrases in context.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking for a nice pillow on eBay.
You're shopping for a pillow online? That's absurd.
Why? I don't have to leave the house or browse a dozen stores to find what I'm looking for. This way, I just search for it online, quick and easy.
I see. But how do you pay for it? How do you know you aren't going to be ripped off by the seller?
Well, the website handles a point system where if the seller does something wrong, people comment negatively, and then you know that he or she may not be trustworthy.
Wow, that sounds pretty safe. So how do you pay? Do you need a credit card?
You can use a credit card or your debit card. They also let you use the PayPal system, which is really safe and fast. I have never had any problems with someone hacking my information or anything.
Do you think I can find a sweater for my dog online?
You can find anything. Are you sure you want to start shopping online, though? Once you step into this world, there is no turning back.
Let's do it!
All right, we're back. Hopefully, our listeners picked up some useful expressions from today's conversation.
Yeah. And maybe some of them are thinking about trying online shopping for the first time.
That's true. Online shopping has become a huge part of modern life, and shopping habits vary from country to country.
Exactly. In Japan, for example, people still love shopping in physical stores, but e-commerce is definitely growing fast.
Yeah, and in the US, online shopping is already the norm, especially with services like Amazon offering same-day or next-day delivery.
That's right. And payment methods vary too. While credit cards and PayPal are common in many countries, in some places, people still prefer cash on delivery.
Yeah, so depending on where you live, online shopping might look very different.
Definitely. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
We'll be back soon with more real-life English conversations.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.